All right, and glad to have you with us tonight. We have Smashing Pumpkins on, and in trying to convey the quality and importance of the Smashing Pumpkins, I found the way early Sunday morning as I held the 20th anniversary issue of one of rock and roll's leading publications, and there were the Pumpkins, honored as one of the top 10 artists of the last 20 years of any bands, and that pretty much for me says it all. Let's welcome from Smashing Pumpkins, vocalist and guitarist Billy Corgan. Billy, good evening and welcome.
Hey, Bob.
And we want to welcome James Eha back to Rockline. I say back because he was here recently with his solo record, Let It Come Down. James, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much.
And the bassist for the band, Darcy Wretzky, welcome to Rockline.
Hi.
Nice to have you here. She strolled in at the last minute. We were all kind of wondering here, is Darcy going to make it? Yeah, now we know. She's here.
Now you know who the real rock star is.
There we go. Fashionably late. Congratulations on the latest honor from your industry peers, as aforementioned. That's a nice thing to be honored as one of the top 10 bands of the last 20 years. And even more so, congratulations on the album Adore. A beautiful piece of work, and you've all three got to be very proud of it. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Some of the earlier sessions for the Pumpkins in recording are legendary, intense enough to start breakup rumors and that type of thing. How does Adore rank in intensity in the process of recording Smashing Pumpkins albums?
This was kind of like a little trip down the river.
Trip up the river without a paddle?
Yeah, trip up the river without a paddle. But we had a picnic lunch. The sun was shining.
Yeah, we were trying to eat and paddle at the same time.
Who got stuck doing all the paddling is what I want to know.
Spoons.
That's where James comes in.
Man. Your music is so original as a band that it seems one byproduct is that you cover a lot of ground. Is it hard not to repeat yourselves? To say, we've actually done something like that before?
That's kind of why this album changed a lot, because we were kind of starting to repeat ourselves. Well, we didn't starting to. We were throwing out a lot of songs on the last record because it seemed like we'd sort of covered it before. And I think that's why this album had to shift in
a radical direction.
In a radical
We
jump.
just decided that everything that we ever did before was crap.
Now there's the artist, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. This is obviously not Siamese Dream or Melancholy Revisited. I mean, this stands on its own as a very different, very unique album, and obviously you were well aware of that. I understand that James' absence in working on his solo record for you, Billy, gave you a little bit of time to kind of take a different perspective and different look at what you were doing with Adore.
Yeah, I think it kind of started off a little more kind of selfishly, I guess would be the way to put it, almost as if I was working on my own. And even though Darcy was there, without the complete chemistry of the three of us. But as soon as he came back, everything seemed to click back in.
You self-produced this time around. Do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages in self-production?
I don't know. I think it's pretty right on even 50-50, because being your own critic can get to be a little harrowing. But I really enjoyed spending extra time on the stupid little things that only seem to gratify me.
Yeah, but that's what it's all about. If you don't create something that you're proud of and that you
and the dogs who can hear it.
Yeah, exactly.
Really, that fine, huh, Darcy? Blow the dog whistle. We're going to start with almost the title track. It's Ava Adore. Is this based on a real relationship or just the vivid imagination of the band?
This is one of those things where it kind of comes out of my brain, and I'm not really sure what it means.
If you'd like one of the 98 Rockline AT&T calendars, just send a postcard with your name, address, and the station you listen to Rockline on. Mail it to 98 Rockline Calendar. It's P.O. Box 4383, Hollywood 90078. They are oddly enough provided by AT&T. What a coincidence! From just a little north of it's actually blank places for people to write in the Rockline acts as they go by week after week after week, and
draw in their own pictures of bands.
Yeah, your band here. Yeah, your band here. We're going to go about 90 miles north of where you are to Milwaukee, or Milwaukee as they like to call it. It's Paul. Paul, you're on Rockline.
Yes, is it true that you have enough material written for another double CD?
No, we've got about maybe 14 other songs that we wrote for Adore, but we're not really sure what we're going to do with them. Some could come out on maybe a solo album, or It's just a bunch of songs. Some are finished, some are kind of in very basic stages.
So
I don't think we're going to be doing the double CD thing anytime soon, if you know what I mean.
Well, one thing about Adore is, boy, you used every bit of space on that CD. I mean, it's close
Not
to...
true,
No,
Bob.
it's almost it's almost 75 minutes long.
Originally, we were going to put this Rick Rubin produced track on the end. That would have made it almost 78 minutes. So we actually took a song off, and we're still criticized for its length. It makes me angry.
Shortchanged. Oh, man, tough crowd, I tell you. We have Julia on the line. She is in Chicago, a listener of Rock 103.5. Julia, you're on the air.
Hi, guys. I was just wondering, in the song Behold the Nightmare, if the nightmare meant, like, a bad dream or if it was, like, a female horse. It was just something that always, like, confused me. It's, like, my favorite song, so I just wanted to know if you could give me an answer.
I was thinking more along the lines of a horse running at night along a beach.
So that would be a nightmare, two different words.
It would be a horse at night.
A horse at night.
Like a horse running at night.
That's pretty perceptive on her part to pick something apart that much. I mean,
we have very intelligent fans.
Yeah, that's obvious, and talk about somebody that's into the music, too. Thanks, Julia, for the call. We have Raul on the line in San Diego. Welcome to the show, Raul.
Hello. I just want to tell you guys I love you, and my question is, are you guys going to play the 17 concerts that you guys film while you were in Europe on TV? Or are they going to be on Before number 2 or something?
That's a very good question. Roll.
Don't know.
We're thinking about putting together a documentary of the entire Adore tour. We filmed most of what went on in Europe, Australia, and Japan, and we've filmed some of the stuff in the United States. So we pretty much have, I don't know, probably a good 17, 18 concerts on tape, and not to mention tons of backstage, hotels, fires,
chairs through plate glass windows.
Bass players on tops of tables doing the Watusi.
Yeah, we
have it all.
Let's get to the rock and roll star stuff here. Actually, that's been a part of Pumpkin Land for quite a while, to tape yourselves and actually learn from those tapes as well as have an archive. True?
No, I don't think we've learned anything from it.
Oh, you don't think you've learned anything?
We'd still be doing it.
We're with Smashing Pumpkins tonight. I'm Bob Coburn with Billy James and Darcy from the band. Before you go on stage, do you have a habit of listening to music? Darcy, is there any particular thing that you listen to before you go on?
I've lately been listening to Air and Luscious Jackson.
Luscious Jackson, yeah. How about anybody else? James, Billy? What do you do before you go on stage?
I tried to put on the critically acclaimed Lucinda Williams record, but Darcy wouldn't let me.
Although now I might
That's good.
stop listening to Luscious Jackson since they're doing the Heinous Lilith Fair tour.
Oh, the Heinous Lilith Fair tour. And Billy, what do you do?
I'm not
before
aware of that tour. I listen to the Scorpions, Bob.
There you go.
I bought a Best of Scorpions.
That's because they wouldn't do the Heinous Lilith Fair tour.
The Scorpions can't play Lilith Fair because they don't have any girls.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's
and
right.
we can't play it either because we don't have enough girls and
Enough
are not
girls.
important enough.
Right.
Is Klaus Meine going to rock you like a hurricane?
That was pretty good.
It was so-so. We got JoJo in Miami. Hi, JoJo.
Hey, in 50 years, how would you like rock historians to remember the Pumpkins?
One of those studious type questions.
We would like them to remember us.
At all.
At all. I don't think there's a problem with that.
We'd like to be remembered as sort of in a presidential election, we'd be like George McGovern.
Cantankerous.
1972.
Whoa. Losing in a landslide.
All right, let's change jokes because that was way too obtuse.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Anybody else with another metaphor there? Yeah.
Let's just move on to the next call.
Okay, it's Tyler. Tyler's in Lincoln, Nebraska. Hopefully not in a studious mood tonight. Tyler, what do you have going on?
Hi, you guys have always been my favorite band. And I was just wondering what kept you guys motivated to keep practicing even though everything was really hard before you guys got big?
Money.
No.
She's counting it right now.
Looking for cab fare home.
I couldn't get home.
The atmosphere in Chicago in the late 80s was kind of conservative and kind of, traditional rock. And we felt we could really take rock into a totally different direction. And I think once we started playing together and we felt that energy, I think we had that kind of confidence, even though no one seemed to have it in us. So it's always pretty much been about our own faith, and that's pretty much what still carries us through. Because, even with the door, a lot of people are telling us we're crazy, but, we don't feel so crazy. We are crazy, but we don't feel crazy.
Well, listen to the CD. That's all I got to say. Somebody else must be listening to another album. Tyler, thank you. Not a professorial question, but very astute. Thank you very much. We have Rob on the line in Detroit. Hi, Rob.
Hi, I was just wondering, guys, how do you pick the titles for your songs and albums? And is it true that the album Gish was named after Lillian Gish, the silent movie actress?
Very good questions tonight. The titles usually seem to come off the top of my head, and/or I steal them from Judas Priest albums. Rock and Rolla is, usually a good reference for Pumpkin song titles. And Gish was named after. We were originally going to call the album Fish, but then there was the band Fish, and even though they had the funny spelling, we didn't want to get compared. So we thought if we just changed the one letter.
So no reference to the film star or anything like that. Just
none
whatsoever. A good call.
So that whole story about her riding through on a train, waving to your grandma, it's all a lie?
No, that's true too.
Nothing like setting the record straight tonight. We're going to move to Youngstown, Ohio, and speak with Jason. Jason, you're on Rockline with the Smashing Pumpkins.
Yes, hey guys. I'm wondering what I can expect on the set list at the Cleveland Horde date.
Oh, well, we have a shorter time list than our regular 5-hour.
We're just going to play one song for an hour and 15 minutes.
Tell the truth.
We've done it before.
Now we're back to the band Fish, P-H-I-S-H.
Yeah, we're going to feel, that kind of peer pressure to jam. So we're just going to do Dark Star.
Dark Star. Whip and Post.
We're going to do them as a medley together.
The Dead Allman Brothers medley from Smashing Pumpkins. That should be pretty good. We have Darcy, James, and Billy with us tonight, which is the band. And we got Jeff on the line right now on Rockline from Oklahoma City. Jeff, you're on the show.
All right. Dig it. Peace, dudes. Hello from us here in the Blade Runner at the Cat.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, Billy. Is it true you're going to do a side project with Marilyn Manson and maybe produce some of his music?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I help them kind of get the beginning stages of their record together more as just a friend, kind of giving them advice and kind of going through their songs and saying, why don't you try and go in this direction, that direction. But I didn't have much literal involvement. I had much more literal involvement in the new Hole record.
How'd you become friends with Marilyn Manson? I know that they are acquaintances and plus a little bit for you.
Well, we just met, I think, at some point along the Twisted Road, and we're kind of, although we may seem very different on the surface, I think we're very similar. We have very similar mentalities as artists. I mean that for the bands, not just me and Manson. So
we also have the same tea leaf reader.
Oh, well, that certainly comes in handy.
Okay, I'm following you there, James.
Yeah, especially when you're on the road, Thank you, Jeff. We're going to talk with Abby in Columbus, Georgia.
Hello?
Are you in Georgia or Iowa?
Iowa.
Iowa, okay. Columbus, Iowa. All right. Just want to make sure.
When you're writing your songs, do you have to wait for inspiration, or do you just write what comes to you?
That's a really good question. I tend to kind of work just to kind of be in the groove of working, and I'll work on stupid songs, funny songs, anything just to keep working. But most of the songs on Adore, I'd say 9 or 10 out of the 15 on there, were pretty much wake up in the morning, grab a guitar, and it's pretty much the first thing that comes out. And I find that the best songs seem to come on inspiration, but I think you have to kind of be in the mentality to be open when you are inspired and not be rusty.
And 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning is prime time for you, right, Billy?
Yeah, unfortunately, that seems to be the case. I mean, when I was a younger man, I definitely thought, I'm going to stay up all night, and, at 4 o'clock it'll hit me, and then I'd be yawning and watching, CNN. So it seems to be the morning for me.
But you're missing Regis and Kathy Lee at 9 in the morning,
Listen, I've written many a song to Regis and Kathy Lee.
There we go. Thank you, Abby, for being on the program. It's Rockline. It's Brian's turn in Long Island, New York. Hi, Brian.
Hi there. I have to ask, the song that you performed at the Viper Room and at the Tibetan Freedom Concert, Need, otherwise that's what we're calling it. Do you have any idea when that's going to be released? Maybe a B-side or soundtrack compilation or anything like that?
Right. Oh, boy, he's referring to a song that's officially known as Blissed and Gone. And that was recorded during the Adore sessions, and there's actually 2 versions of it, and I'm pretty sure it'll be coming out as one of the B-sides on the album. It's a good end of rock and roll kind of song. So, but I'm sorry for those who don't know. He's talking about bootlegs and things, so it's very obscure.
But he's informed about that type of thing. Gee, it's a shame nobody knows anything about the band tonight, huh? Man, you talk about into it. Thanks, Brian. John's turn in Fort Wayne, Indiana. John, you're in Rockline.
Hey, I just had a question about the song Ava Adore. In the We Must Never Be Apart chorus, is it true that if played backwards it says, all evil follow me?
Oh, backmasking.
Actually says, eat your Wheaties, your mom is good. Eat your Wheaties. But it's kind of like, eat your Wheaties, your mom is good. It's like that. But, no, we're all about positivity right now before we go back negative on our next album. So, peace and love, brother. That's all we got to say.
There you go. Thanks, John, for being on the air. And, Billy, you've called this album a positive response to the negativity in the world. What do you mean by that?
Well, at some point, as an artist, it's very easy to kind of get into negativity as a way of expressing yourself. You play nice and loud, you scream nice and loud, and it all seems to kind of come out. But at some point, you look around you and you see a repetition in negativity almost to the point where it's no longer a pure energy. It's just like something people are doing because that's what everybody's doing. And so artistically, I start to move the other way. And I just feel the world is so negative right now that, the most rock and roll thing we can do is to be positive. We're doing this charity tour, and it's amazing because there is a freshness to the energy because it is actually the opposition of what exists right now.
You mentioned the charity tour, and I read a wonderful article in the Chicago Tribune about the band, and you had a great statement in there, Billy. It's time for Gen X people to start throwing our weight around in a positive way. And one of the ways you're doing that is pretty amazing. Is this tour going to lose money for the band? I heard you're giving away over $2 million, and you're going to take a loss.
Oh, yeah, we're losing
almost that much.
Plenty of crab cakes. But that's not what, our money, and it's not really important. I think we're just trying to say, put your money where your mouth is. And, I'm looking at Rolling Stone here with the Beasties on the cover. They've taken a stand for Tibet. We respect them very much for that. And, we're trying to take a stand for our generation and subsequent generations that, a little peace and love and, putting your money where your mouth is goes a long way. Not only to help the disadvantaged or the needy, but it's good for the soul. And if you watch Springer day after day or whatever, you start to think the whole world is a trailer park. And I lived in a trailer park at one point in my life, and it's not all bad like everybody makes it out to be. And at some point I just get tired of being told that America sucks and we suck and everyone's going to hell. Well, I just don't. At some point it's not really the energy that I feel. I think people are a lot more positive than they're being given credit for, and so, if anything, maybe we're just putting a name on that energy.
Boy, is that nice to hear. Questions, calls, all kinds of things for the band tonight. We have calls from Nick in Detroit, Michigan. Nick, you're on Rockline with Smashing Pumpkins.
Well, first of all, I just want to tell you guys you've helped me so much through, the last few years. It's been really rough, but I wanted to ask you, I like the version. I was at the State Theater in Detroit when you guys played, and you guys played an excellent version of Butterfly Wings. I know you're sick of hearing Butterfly Wings, whatever, but, it was just great. It was an excellent version, and the percussion was just great. And I just want to tell you I'm so impressed.
And that's it? No question or anything?
Well, I was curious if in the future, if there was any possible remixes or sorts.
Yeah, we have a bunch of remixes going on right now. Everyone from Ministry to Puffy Combs to possibly My Bloody Valentine to Nellie Hooper to The Frogs. So yeah, we're trying to remix a lot of Adore because we think it's kind of in the spirit that it's all just kind of one crazy mess anyway.
You know, I want to expound upon something that Nick said in his call. Thanks for helping me through rough times. What do you think as musicians when you hear that kind of feedback from somebody? I mean,
well, it's a heavy thing, you know. We're glad we give some people some comfort and solace, but, you know, at some point as a musician, you know, some people just listen because they want to, you know, bang their head. So I think we've grown to a point where it's like, we look at it as like, if anybody's listening, it's all good, you know. If they're listening for fun, if they're listening because they're trying to get through a hard time, if they're listening because they just want to, you know, pass the time, it's all good, you know, because somehow, you know, whatever's in there, the energy in there will kind of seep through their skin, and maybe it comes out in some other way, and they don't necessarily connect it to us. So it's all good.
Thanks to Nick for the call. It's Kevin's turn. We go from Detroit to San Luis Obispo, California. Hi, Kevin.
Hi. I just wanted to say I saw you guys July 2nd at the Universal Amphitheater, and you guys changed my life that night. But
how do we do that? Your car gets stolen?
Ba-dum.
No, I wanted to ask you guys. I've heard you talk about smaller club shows and referring to real fans and kind of like fair weather fans, and I wonder how you determine who's a real fan and stuff like that.
Do you ever think about that?
I don't think you can really label a fan on, you know, if they have all the B-sides or, you know, if they'll throw themselves in front of a truck for a Pumpkin CD. I don't really think about it that way anymore.
Or a stolen car from the amphitheater. Yeah.
Right. I would define a fan at this point as someone who's willing to at least give us the opportunity to win them over. You know, I've definitely bought, you know, new CDs by bands that I'm a big fan of, like, say, U2, and they'll put out something new. I'll listen to it for the first time, and I'll go, I don't know. Maybe I don't like it so much or whatever. But because I am a fan, I'll listen to that CD 4 or 5 times more just to make sure that I'm not missing something. And I think that's what being a fan really is. It's having faith in the band to let them get to you eventually. You know, and the bands that I'm fans of, they always win me over in the end, and they always prove me wrong, and they always prove them right. And so I like to think that the fans of us have the faith in us to let us win them over, and I think Adore is that kind of record. I think if fans will give us that chance, because I know there's a lot of fans who are kind of bewildered and they've read so many different things. I mean, all we're trying to do is what we've always done, which is just, you know, to make music and to make fresh music, and that's it. And, you know, if you're a fan and you listen to it and you don't get it, and you listen to it 4 more times and you don't get it, then that's the Pumpkins' fault. But
one of the fun things in sitting in this chair and doing this show year after year after year is that happens with me with artists. I walk in with a certain impression or feeling about an album, and I spend 90 minutes with the artist and have a completely different sensation when I leave the room, and that's one of the great things about this show. I need to mention who's on next week. By the way, you can call right now toll-free at 1-800-344-ROCK. That's 7625. We have Slayer and Mayfield 4. They'll join us for live music and your phone calls. You are listening to Rockline. We're back with Smashing Pumpkins. Apples and oranges. Smashing Pumpkins on Rockline, the Adore CD. And Billy, I understand that song was created, scrapped, and reconstructed. Is that the case? And why?
Wow, you're on it, man. Yeah, we have a demo of the song where it's just almost kind of like a hippie folk song, kind of like a funny. The lyrics are a lot funnier, and then I kind of ripped the song asunder and redid all the music kind of more sparse and fragmented. And then I rewrote the lyrics, and then I was going to rewrite them again, and then Darcy talked me into keeping the lyrics, so that's what you hear.
There we go. Let's take a call from Jack in the wonderful city of Nolens, Louisiana. Hi there, Jack.
Hi. I'd like to say I was at the 2 shows in Texas recently. They were really great. And I was just wondering what inspired the whole charity tour idea, and if you plan on starting your own charity in the future.
Yeah, have you ever thought about starting your own charities?
Yeah.
The Smashing Pumpkin Sustentation Foundation. Yeah, there we go. Sign Darcy up immediately.
Well, the basic genesis of the charity tour was we originally wanted to play in America for free, you know, in your local park, so to speak. And most of the cities in America will not let us play for free outside like that, including our own hometown, which many of you probably have heard about, was a big tobacco. So instead of just going and doing a quote unquote a normal tour, we want to do something special for the album. And so we hit upon the idea of doing the charity tour, and it's just kind of gathered a lot of momentum, and it seems to be gathering more and more momentum as we go along. And now we hope that it'll get picked up more in a symbolic way, and people will understand it for that, because that's what we really want. The money is great, and we're happy to work with the charities because they're all fantastic, but we want people to take the symbolism from it, because rock is great, and looking crazy is great, and acting silly is fun, but at the end of the day, we have to take care of each other, and I don't think that's so unhealthy or un-rock and roll.
I think that's a really nice trend to establish and start personally. Who's reading a book in there? Is somebody reading War and Peace or something? Or the new Rolling Stone?
That would be the loose cannon.
Oh, is that which would be Darcy?
You're not engaging her, Bob.
It's Gone with the Wind.
It's Gone with the Wind. Oh, okay. Well,
my attention.
Oh, well, we'll try and get it back then, okay?
My attention span.
Frankly, I don't give a damn, Darcy, but we'll work on it, all right? We got Matt on the line in Knoxville. And Matt, do you have a question for Darcy? We got to get her back into the fold here.
Well, actually, this is for the whole band.
Okay.
I was wondering why you chose to drop some of your older songs on this tour, and if there's a chance you'll ever bring any of these songs back on future tours.
Okay, well, this is Darcy talking. It's not so much dropping as just trying to embrace, the direction we're in right now. We've always rotated our songs, and, like last night, we played a song from Melancholy we don't play very much called Stumbling that we probably only played 15 times live. So we move stuff around, and I imagine that when we start playing more heavy concerts again, we'll play more of the old stuff. But I don't know. It's that same old thing. I mean, I don't think it's such a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, in every tour we've sort of, for every album we play mostly the new record, and there just aren't enough minutes really to play our back catalog at this point.
Well, let's see. We've got to get Darcy engaged here somehow. We talked money. That kind of lit you up a little while ago here. How about your record label? Who have you signed lately to Scratchy Records?
We're...
James, let Darcy talk.
Oh. I'm like, well, we're...
Hello, Darcy.
Pick a new topic.
Pick a new topic? Okay, all right. Then we shall take a call from Kimberly in Miami, Florida. She'll give us a new topic. Hi, Kimberly.
Hi.
You're on the air.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
I wanted to know... Fine. How are you?
We've established that. We need a question, Kimberly.
Okay. I just wanted, for James, I wanted to know what's the significance of putting your shoes in the refrigerator?
Oh, yeah, right. There was a quote of mine that ended up in Us magazine, and it said, "What Smashing Pumpkin guitarist James Iha puts in his refrigerator," and it said, "Orange juice, mustard, and Italian shoes." And well, the shoes are actually still alive, and I'm just trying to keep them cool.
James has a really bad foot fungus problem. It's like a runaway, rampant foot fungus, and the only way he can keep it in check is to keep it in the refrigerator.
That's it, yeah.
Far afield.
Just tell us where you buy shoes, James, and we'll stay away from there, okay? I don't want to follow you into a shoe store, that's for sure.
Oh, no, I don't know.
Darcy, there are a couple of revealing photographs of you on the CD sleeve. What did your husband say about that?
You know what? He hasn't said anything. He's here somewhere. I wonder what he thinks of that.
Yeah?
I have no idea.
Well, it must be pretty cool.
Those really aren't her nipples.
No, that's not me at all. It's just my head.
Stunt nipples. There we go.
Somebody else's body.
Stunt nipples.
Nothing like a little mix and paste there to make the picture come alive, huh? I was talking with Darcy while we were off the air, and I don't know why I'm bringing this up, because actually I was glad it was off the air. I mentioned one of the photos in the album. It kind of reminded me of being back in Chicago around 4000 North, and Darcy says, you know where that is, man?
When they had all the nude beaches, all the topless beaches.
Yeah, there we go. But that photo's not from Chicago, is it?
Poland.
It's from Poland.
Everything on the album is from Poland.
Everything on the album's from Poland. And I'm talking about how it really brings me back to Chicago. Okay, next phone call is Kristen in Long Island. Hi, Kristen. You're on with Smashing Pumpkins.
Hi, I love you guys.
Love you too.
Thanks. Oh, God. I just want to know if you guys felt that you guys were, like, ahead of your time.
Oh, do you ever feel like you're ahead of your time, huh? Or ahead of the critics,
or did
anyway.
you say out of time?
Out of time.
From another planet.
Do you ever feel that way?
I think we feel that way right now. So
with the Adore CD and the reviews coming in and everything?
I just think that it's, you know, people appreciate the beauty of the album, but I don't think they completely understand it. And it's very reminiscent to the Gish when we put out our first album. It was like, without the context around it, people had a hard time understanding it. But every day that goes by, more and more people are starting to kind of unlock the album, which is cool.
Now, I think people...
But I think it's like...
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think it's like one of those things, like in a year, people go, aha. But it's a strange record, but it's very beautiful, and I think people are unlocking those mysteries day by day.
Well, I think people need to listen to it more, for one thing, because that's one of the problems. You really have to sit down and listen to it. And I think it was really gutsy to begin the album with To Sheila, to begin with something that's soft and melodic and beautiful. And to me, the album kind of comes in two stages, really. And the beginning of Adore is really quite different from the end, yet they complement each other. We wouldn't call it a concept CD. Is it thematic at all, though?
The whole CD is about love, you know, absence of, needing, desiring, killing for. It's all about love.
And a lot of things happen with that. We head to Kansas City for Ryan. Ryan, you're on Rockline.
Hi, I had heard that you don't mind live taping as long as it's really for the fans, so I was wondering if you had seriously ever considered formally allowing live taping of your shows.
I think we've talked about it, but I know there's some legalities involved with our record label. I don't think our record contract necessarily. We'd almost have to go in and negotiate for it, which would seem to be kind of a problem. I don't know. I don't know. That whole thing is such a weird thing. What do you think, James?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's merit behind the idea, because I don't have any problem with fans, wanting to hear their favorite concert, but there's just too many, hustlers and
especially with the internet right now, being able to download things. I think it's going to be a bigger and bigger business, bootlegging, because how are they going to control people over the internet? There's just no way.
And not only do you lose sound quality in a inexpensive, shall we say, recording of a concert, but then you hit the net and it can really get really weak and lame when it's downloaded. So that becomes a real problem. Thank you for the call, Ryan. We have Michelle on the line in the Inland Empire, just east of Los Angeles in Chino, California. Hi, Michelle.
Hi. I love you guys, and I was just wondering, off of Adore, what song was most difficult to record, and what song are you most proud of?
Good question.
Why don't we go around the room on that one, get an answer from everybody?
I believe that's one of those impossible to answer questions.
There's your answer, Bob.
Were they all that tough, Darcy? Because I know you're not going to say they were that easy, that's for sure.
Actually, I was just about to say that, but...
Well, you just got me guessing tonight.
I wouldn't have really meant it.
Yeah.
Well...
See what I mean?
I'm trying to come up with an answer.
We're stumped.
Pug was an interesting song. That was sort of a jam that we were working on with a drummer, and then it became a lot more... and then Billy started working on it on the computers and kind of got the main groove going with it sounded a lot more Gary and
It's actually harder to listen to you talk about it.
Thinking the same thing.
Whatever. Just trying to give a story here.
At least James,
rock and roll story.
At least James gave some sound.
True.
At least we got a sound bite. Is there anything that's difficult to translate from the CD to live performance? Anything that's been a little slippery to perform live?
I just met a guy today in the grocery store, and he told me that he liked it live almost better than listening to the album.
Oh, well, that happens.
Now he's like,
what song?
He goes back to the album. He's like, I kind of wish that it was a little bit more.
Well, because there's some songs on here that relate to my mother and things. A lot of people have assumed that's very difficult, but I actually found it very kind of peaceful to do those songs because of the spirit of my mother. And I think the harder songs to do are the ones where you feel frustrated that you're not necessarily getting out of them what you want. I know there's a song on that CD called Crestfallen that I had a lot of problems with getting the exact feeling that I was looking for. We probably worked on the song for 12 or 14 days just to try to nail this one feeling that was very elusive.
How about for Martha?
Well, that's one of the songs I'm referring to that somewhat has to do with my mother. A lot of people assume that the song is about the death of my mother, but it's really more of a tribute to her and her spirit and her memory. And she gave me a lot of strength, and I'm very proud of her, and I was very proud of the way that she, lived her life and really was so amazingly graceful in her death, which is hard for a lot of people to understand. So the song's really more of a tribute to her than it is, about that subject, and that's where people get a little tripped up on the album, with the subject matter.
We have Dan on the line in Lansing, Michigan. Dan, what is your question?
Hi guys. I was wondering what's next for the Pumpkins.
We have many plans for you, Dan.
We are first going to drive by your house, invite you into the car, and we'll take a road trip.
We have crazy big monster rock plans ahead. That's all I can say. It's going to be good.
And what am I hearing about finishing a summer tour and then going right back into the studio for a new CD?
Right. That was always the plan with the CD, was to kind of shorten the cycle of promoting and touring and playing, just so that we wouldn't, be putting out an album every 3 years. So we're going to start again in September. There is a possibility that we may do some more shows in America sometime in the winter. But that all depends on all things, like albums and crazinesses.
Well, before Dan gets his home phone on the air to have you drive by and pick him up and to tell you where he lives and all that type of thing, we'll take a break and come back in just one moment with Smashing Pumpkins on Rockline. Thank you, Dan.
We now continue with Rockline on the RRN.
BC, it's time to go home now. Say nighty-night now.
Yeah, we'll do that in just one moment here. A couple of quick questions that were given to me from people who were not going to have time to get on the air here from Toronto, from Tom. Billy, which musician, dead or alive, would you compare yourself to?
That's a toughie. I can say who my hero is. My hero is John Lennon, and that's, if I could ever aspire to be anybody, that's what I aspire to be.
That's a pretty lofty aspiration there. And let me pass that on to James and Darcy, too. James, what about you?
Gosh, I can't really think of him. Musician.
Graham Parsons?
That I aspire to be? I don't know. Just
Darcy, any comments on that?
Graham Parsons, George Harrison. Sure.
That's pretty good company, too. People. Darcy, what about you?
All about the Beatles. I'm all about the Beatles.
All about
Beatles
the
and
Beatles.
John Lennon.
Yeah, there we go. By the way, today, the anniversary of Live Aid, which took place in 1985. So it's, 13 years ago? Still considered one of the biggest concerts in the history of rock and roll in 2 locations, in London and Philadelphia. And now you embark upon this charity tour, and we get to talk to you tonight. So, coincidence? I think not. Just funny how the things work out like that, isn't it? Funny how things work out like that.
We can't get knighted like Sir Bob.
Yeah, Sir Bob. Yeah, there we go, Mr. Geldof. Very quickly here, being a person who's lived in Chicago twice in my life, am I one of the only people that's hearing a little dab of early Chicago blues in this CD, or are other people hearing it as well?
Very good. Thank you. I'm glad somebody knows. This is true. 50 Chicago blues and rural Delta blues is absolutely an influence on the album.
Those of you who do not know Chicago, you can walk right outside almost anywhere you live in the city, and within a block or two is going to be a great band with somebody blowing harp and playing the blues. It's one of the great things about that city. I want to thank everybody for listening and calling tonight. We can't do this without you. Also like to thank Cliff Bernstein, Peter Minch, and Susie Forzano at Q Prime Management, Hank Newberger, and everybody at the wonderful CRC Studios, and our Chicago affiliate, Rock 103.5. And to Billy, James, and Darcy, thanks for being on tonight. I love the record, and you're welcome back anytime. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much, Bob.
Thanks.
I'm BC, and I'll be seeing you next week.